So you've been through the ideation stage and you've got lots of possible solutions. At the prototype stage, the goal is to put the best ones to the test. A prototype might be anything from a wall of post-it notes, to a storyboard, to a design mock-up or an interactive activity. The process of building a prototype will likely help clarify the problem even more and offer new insights or new solutions that you hadn't thought of before. In preparing for the final testing stage, it's helpful if prototypes can be experienced by your audience for the purpose of requesting feedback. Testing helps you learn more about your possible solutions and more about your audience. Depending on how testing pans out, it may lead back to any of the 4 previous stages. You may discover that you didn't define the problem correctly or failed to understand your audience and need to go all the way back to square one. Or you may just need to refine the prototype a little. Most likely it's that. Testing will help you to develop and improve and advance on those prototypes.
If you really want to take your user testing or audience feedback to the next level, consider using the Smart Mockup app in Canva. This is where you can transform any image into a custom product mockup. This makes it look like the final product, which is perfect for getting a much more realistic response from the audience. In Canva, it's super easy. Go to the Share menu and this time choose the Download option and download the design as a JPEG or PNG image. Click the Uploads tab and upload your downloaded design back into the editor. Drag it into the editor and click on the image. In the toolbar above the page, click on Edit Image. Look for Smart Mockups from the Editor side panel. Click on Select All to see all mockup options. Click on your chosen option to see the mockup version of your design. Smart Mockups is the tool where you can really show what the finished product might look like. For instance, say you have been creating a layout for a new app. You can drop it straight into a smartphone mockup so the audience can understand how it might work and feel if they were holding it in their hands.
I love smart mockups, but it's not going to work for every type of product that might come out of your ideation sessions. In a design thinking workshop scenario, you're going to need access to external points of reference at this stage. And this might be people that haven't attended the previous steps of the workshop, or someone in another team, or maybe even upper management. Anyone who's going to be able to give you an insight into your ideas, having not been involved in the creation of it. Now, in the best circumstances, this might be someone who mirrors or has similar traits to the personas you created way back in step 1. So bring these people in to get their immediate reaction and feedback on what you're showing them. But before you bring them in, the team's going to have to decide on what type of prototype they need to produce. What is going to show enough of the idea so the audience or the user is going to understand what the final product will feel like. It could be something as simple as a presentation, or it could be an item that the user actually gets to experience. It doesn't need to be high tech. In fact, sometimes it's better if it's not. Paper prototypes are an excellent way of working through a user journey and observing the decisions they make along the way. Like during the empathize stage, observing and or listening to your audience is key here. Instead of explaining the prototype up front, let the user experience it on their own. Observing this interaction helps reveal important insights about what aspects of the prototype are working or maybe not working. And then encourage them to ask questions and give their feedback about their experience. Offering multiple prototypes to compare is also another useful technique, and it's often easier for the user. They can easily point to the one they liked better or found it easier to use. So the first part of this stage of the workshop is going to revolve around deciding what type of prototype to make and then producing it. It needs to be quick and dirty, and it needs to give an indication of the final product or the feature that you want to test. Once you have something to show, invite the chosen audience in and find out what they think. And as mentioned earlier, any stage of the design process can be repeated or returned to as needed, or taken out of order. It's not meant to be a linear, strictly defined process, but to adapt to the unique requirements of the individual environments and the projects. And once you have your feedback and an idea of what needs to improve, you can go to the next stage. And what is that next stage? Well, it's production. Once you have your proof of concept, you can bring in that external contractor or that specialist to get the final product made. Check out the next video in our series to find out more. And don't forget, we've got a workbook that puts you into the Canva editor and gives you a chance to practice some of what you've been learning. Scan this QR code, or in the comments you'll find a link. It's perfect to turn that theory into practical skills.